Welcome to StreetFame TV. This is another great episode. I'm your host, Chris Love. Got a special friend in the building, professional friend as well, Jeffo Da Hitmaker. Jeff, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here, Chris.
So Jeff, we were talking earlier. We talked about a lot of different things, man. You got the studio in East Nashville.
Yes.
Studio 34, right?
340.
340. I'm sorry. Studio 340.
Studio 340.
You got the clothing line Hood Out, that you're rocking right now. Tell us about your origins, Jeff. What made you get into music and have this brand as Jeffo Da Hitmaker? I kind of had limited resources in the beginning, but then once getting the resource to do what I needed to do, I just didn't want to have to keep outsourcing everything. It was easier for me to just create my own opportunities. So as a rapper starting out, I needed a studio, I needed beats. So I learned how to make beats. I learned how to gain some capital, get a space, right,
design a studio. And from designing a studio, I started being a person who would do interior design, just small things. I always just kind of just put the
finesse on it.
Yeah,
because I've been in the studio that you got, man. The studio is fly, y'all. The studio is fly.
Thank you.
You always welcoming like new artists, upgrade artists, mid-level artists, new artists that are starting off. You don't discriminate to who you allow to come in the studio to do their thing. I noticed that.
I mean, you never know. You never know who's gonna make it big. You never know who's gonna flop. Even some of the best artists don't do always good music or don't always make hits. So you got to give. I just kind of got a saying is I say anything's possible and everything should be considered. So with that concept, you never can miss because you never know.
I met you while you were co-directing a TV show that I was a part of.
Right.
Be Love Lounge years ago.
Right.
So you do a little bit of TV as well, and you do also promotions.
Right.
What type of promotions are you into? What's your favorite promotions?
I'm a guerrilla marketer. I'm gonna make you buy it.
Nice.
I'm gonna make you buy it. It's just, I mean, when you put it in their hand, they're gonna look at it, they're gonna notice it. Social media is good, but in the streets with it, it's probably gonna be the best way to do it. Just get out there and meet somebody. Always networking, always building relationships, always keeping notes and contacts. And I mean, that's the way it is. Guerrilla marketing is just the concept of not taking no for an answer.
I would definitely call you one of the gurus of the guerrilla marketing because every time I look around, you know what I'm saying, you DJ Coop, you got the studio in East Nashville, you're filming a video for an artist. I even met Moneybag Yo outside your studio when he had just finished his new book, his last book.
Yes.
So it's like your studio is kind of like the hub for people who are artists to meet and network with other artists. Do they tell you that sometimes? Do they tell you how important the studio is to them?
Yeah, artists always are looking for opportunity. So when you're creating opportunity, you're going to always run into new artists, new potential stars, and the main ingredient is just to always be available. You can't make no plays if you're in the game.
This is true. So we talked about that too. We talked about isolation and how sometimes when you're trying to develop a brand in the city that you come from, it's kind of like the old saying, I come to my own, they receive of me not. Building your brand in your own city can sometimes be more difficult than going to other places and promoting it. What do you feel like has been some of the things that you noticed that have made you more successful with the studio, with producing for artists, with your clothing line?
It is difficult branding your own brand in your own city, but it has to be done. You almost can't. My dad taught me a concept, and it involved water, and he said you can't use a gallon of water to wet a whole parking lot. You need to kind of utilize your push in sections and in areas. And I think artists sometimes bite off more than they can chew by trying to go worldwide when you might need to just get your neighborhood behind you first and then branch out to the next phase of it. I mean, it's easier done that way.
Yeah, I see you kind of like working on certain sections of the city, east side, north side.
Yeah.
You really bring them artists together, man. They respect you for what you do and what you provide for them.
And the familiarity of it is what counts the most. So when an artist is from North Nashville, then the North Nashville area knows them more so than the East Nashville area. So we just introduce them to those different areas after they get their own area on lock, because when you do your research on an artist or a creative and nobody knows them, it doesn't give any solidification to who they are. So it's good to always have that background already stamped. So when people go to check up on you, they say, "Oh yeah, we know.
Yeah,
we
he's
know
legitimate.
Chris. We know, he's legit."
Now I had a couple of my partners tease about Jeffo Da Hitmaker,
Oh,
but Jeff, you certified. You did gold with Pistol many years ago in the city, right?
Yeah, I work with a lot of artists throughout Nashville, even outside of Nashville. But music just isn't my mainstay. I think music was just my first business card to make sure that I had a place in the entertainment business. It was just my
what attracted you to entertainment at all? What was it? Because you said you started off rapping. Is that kind of like what you saw yourself doing, like MCing?
I liked being a rapper in the beginning, but once I started producing music and once I started meeting the artists, I just got a real hunger for watching the product come into fruition. I love to see the process. I'm in love with the process, and I tell anybody, trust the process. You know what I'm saying? Don't ever give up on your goal or your dream. Just trust the process. As soon as you think it ain't working, it's gonna be working.
All right, good advice, man. So, with all the artists that you've met in the city, I know you see potential sometimes,
right?
And of course, when you in the booth and you record an artist, sometimes you like, okay, there's not that much potential here. Are you that open and honest with an artist? Like if they're doing a song that you feel like is not going to be a good marketing scheme for them, will you admit that to them?
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. I think a lot of the creative energy that's going around now sometimes consists of just a lot of yes men type mentality. So everybody's in the room boosting up the
ego of the artist.
Yeah, the ego of the artist. But I oftentimes just try to keep it solid, or 100, as my son would say. I just try to keep it 100 with them, because at the end of the day, telling them what it really is will push them to do or go the next extra mile to make it better.
Make it better.
Yeah.
Make them better as an artist.
Make them better as an artist.
Because ultimately, because I've been in the studio with you, and
gotta be hard on them.
I got an opportunity to be a part of a video shoot that we did, and it was for kind of like a new artist,
right?
But that artist was opposing a major artist,
right?
And it was a diss record,
right?
And you kind of had your statements like, okay, why are we doing this?
Yeah, why are we doing this?
This is a good idea.
Yeah,
and I liked how you questioned that, so that's what kind of made me bring the question back to you.
Yes, it's like you got to see where your mainstay, your stake in the client, where it's gonna be. You can start out dissing the artist, but that's where you are gonna be with it. So you almost want to create your own thing and don't piggyback off of what somebody else is doing negatively. It's, because publicity is publicity, and if you get a name for that, that's what it is.
Tell us about the clothing line Hood. What does Hood represent? What does it stand for?
Hood represents helping our own dominate, and I basically run a embroidery print shop that does custom clothes for other companies and other artists. But I wanted to create a brand that basically utilized something positive and would represent where I'm from, because I'm from the hood, but I'm no longer in the hood on a negative level. I'm on the hood as a positive influence to not just the younger people, but even some of the older people. I'm constantly doing things and giving back and making it happen. That's who made me. I got to be there for the people that.
I love that about you, man. I love how you take the ingenuity of being from the hood and you make it good. Because we take it from a flip side of always making it negative and disrespecting our music, but I like how you do that. So how can people find out about your studio? Where can they go to? Because I know you on Instagram, you on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Can they just hit you up if they need a session? How can I get a session from Jeffo Da Hitmaker?
With the multiple platforms, it's sometimes hard to catch me on each individual one, but you can always catch me at Jeffo Da Hitmaker anywhere.
Jeffo Da Hitmaker, Instagram, and that's Facebook.
Yeah.
Throw out an email for them, Jeff. So
Jeffo Da Hitmaker at gmail.com.
All right, so Jeff, you got the studio, you got the clothing line, you got the promotion company, you do marketing, and you do film. Because I was working with you years ago on directing some stuff, man.
Yeah.
What do you think Jeffo Da Hitmaker is going to be doing 2021, 2022?
Man, I hate to have to drop it this way, but I'm doing things that people don't normally do. I'm looking for the niche that is not as saturated as some of the other things. So you can expect to see me on a platform that you would never
anticipate.
You never anticipate.
All
Just
right.
stay tuned. If you follow me at Jeffo Da Hitmaker, you'll see it.
All right, so we definitely gonna keep the studio support going on because I love it, and the clothing line support going on. Jeff, my man, thanks for coming out to the show today, man. I really appreciate your presence.
Thank you, Chris.
StreetFame TV, this is Live and Direct. I'm your host, Chris Love. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.